beautiful friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty. I go by Pattymac Makes everywhere online. In today's video, I want to talk with you about this very beautiful quilt top that you see hanging behind me. Today's project is a layer cake quilt, and I know how much all of you out there in beautiful YouTube land love layer cake quilts. So let's jump in and talk about what I made and how I made it. The first thing I want to say about this particular project is that I made it using items that came to me in my most recent Missouri Star box. I'm in their partner program, and what that means is I get to pick out a handful of items every month. I open those boxes here on the channel for you, share them with you, and then my goal is to make those items into projects that you can also make at home. Sometimes those projects are going to be originals, like the most recent video that I did where I shared the sunshine kittens with you. In today's video, it's kind of a pattern review of sorts, and I used a pattern that I picked up through that particular box that is available on their website. The greatest thing about being in the Missouri Star Partner Program is that I get to offer you 20% off discounts. I know what you want to know. You want to know, how do I get this discount? I'm really glad you asked. All you have to do is click on links below that either go to specific items, or there's one that's just an overall general link to the Missouri Star website, and you can pick out whatever you like. We all like different things, and so being able to shop for the things that you have on your own personal list or that you're interested in, I mean, that's just perfect. So all you have to do is click through the link, make your selections, and the discount will come off for you automatically, but you're not going to see it until you get into checkout. And at that point, it will show up for you. Now, here are the restrictions. The restrictions are you have to spend at least $50. The other restriction is that some items are not eligible for the discount. So like the Jenny box is not on this blanket discount. Other specialty items, they will not show up as a discounted item at checkout if you happen to select it. Just about anything on sale, you can stack that 20% off on something already on sale. Not every time, like they recently had like, I don't know, it was like 2 charm packs for a special price. In that instance, it did not work. But generally speaking, everything I've tried it with, the discount has worked. So with very few limitations, just using the links will provide you with 20% off your total purchase at checkout. And if you're going to shop anyway, I really appreciate it when you use my particular links. Okay, let's talk about what's behind me. In fact, let me step out of the way for a second just so you can take it in. Oh, isn't she so pretty? Oh, I love her so much. It is very overcast and rainy here today, so the light is a little bit of a challenge, so just bear with me on that. But I think you can still pretty much see what's behind me. I think it's gorgeous. So this is a layer cake pattern, and I used a product called Porch Swing. Porch Swing is from Rolie Blake, and it is an Ashley Collette design, and I have a few squares left. This is a beautiful, beautiful collection of fabric. Here's everything on the back. It's gorgeous. It's a lot of like a hunter green type of shades. And what I liked about the reds is that they're like a cherry red. So it's just a really beautiful cherry red. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. The only complaint, and this is kind of minor, but the only complaint I can make about this Porch Swing collection is that there just wasn't enough different print designs in the collection. And so that made it just a little bit of a challenge to work with in a larger project. But I mean, nothing Nothing horrible. And I mean, this is just splitting hairs at this point because I think I can see it in the monitor. I think the project is beautiful. So this was very nice to work with. I mean, it's Rolie Blake, so you know you're getting a quality product. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's florals, and it's a lot of birds. Tons of bird designs. Birds and florals and really beautiful, beautiful color. Let's find one more. There is some yardage for this collection that's left, not a ton, but some. This is probably the most gorgeous. And I used a lot of that in the project behind me. Let me show you one more. This was so pretty. Oh my gosh. Just a gorgeous tone-on-tone green. Oh. Anyway, porch swing. So that's the fabric I used. Let me show you the pattern. This pattern is called Squared Up, and it is from Cotton and Joy Patterns. I was going to try and do an ombre layout like she did, and I just didn't have quite enough fabric to make that work. So I just kind of put this and that everywhere. I wound up making the throw size, and she gives you instructions to make a baby size, a throw size, a twin, and a queen. And here, just for size reference. And I like it because she gives you some ideas for using colors. Colors and ombre, I think that's fun. And then this is one that she did. And a really pretty rainbow. Isn't that gorgeous? And she did that one with no border at all, which is apparently the more modern type of design, is to leave off the border. I personally like a little border. I struggle a little with the binding, and so to have at least something there of a border helps me to get everything finished out. Anyway, I followed her instructions, and let me tell you something. The background fabric that I used, that was a Bella Solid in white, and I think it was 2 yards worth. Let me see. It was 2 yards. I ordered 2 yards. Anyway, let me show you what I have left. I have these 3 strips. These are 2.5-inch strips. These were like literally the last offcuts from the binding, the border, because everything had to be pieced. So all of the sash had to be pieced together, and of course the border, because it's wide and long enough that my width of fabric didn't fully cover. Let me get you a measurement. So the throw is going to measure at 60 by 72. It's a good size. I think it's a nice sized quilt. It's, you know, it's not going to fit your bed. I tried it on my bed, and of course it's not big enough. I'd have to go to the queen. But when you go from this size, which is a throw, it will use what does it use? So to make the throw size, you will need 30 10-inch squares to complete it. When you go to the queen size, you're going to need 64. So to make it large enough to cover my particular bed, I have a full-size bed, but it's thick, so it has a lot of drape on the side. So yeah, I wind up having to make a larger sized quilt than I should technically need, but because the mattress is so gigantic, it takes extra. So yeah, it's like more than double this to fit my bed. Isn't that crazy? I mean, you can see it here. It's the throw on the top, and then there down at just below it, that's your queen size. So it's a lot of extra. So you would need 2 full, you can either call it a 10-inch stacker or a layer cake. It just depends on who you're purchasing from. If it's a Moda, it's going to be called a layer cake. If it's anybody else, it's a 10-inch stacker. Anyway, the 2 yards of background, I mean, that's all I had left. So you want to be really, really precise and careful in your cutting and piecing to make sure you don't run out just as you're getting that last strip of border on. So this is not like a new pattern. This goes back to February of 22, and it's designed by Fran Gulick. And she used her fabric on the cover image called Daybreak. It's very nice. Something that was interesting when I was making my choice for my my box of what I wanted them to send me, I knew I wanted a layer cake pattern or a 10-inch square pattern. And I was just looking through what they had on the website, and this one just jumped out at me, and I was like, oh, I like that. It's modern. It doesn't look overly difficult or complicated, and I just liked the whole vibe about it. And what's really funny is, guess who made this on the Missouri Star channel? Misty. It's like in the last box, I picked a fabric that was, you know, I didn't have any experience with. I looked at it, I really liked it. I picked it up, the Moonbeam. That's gorgeous. Misty also used Moonbeam, and interestingly enough, she used Moonbeam to make her version of the squared up. Correction, it's Moonchild. Isn't that gorgeous? It's beautiful. Anyway, if you want to see Misty's version, I'll link that for you below. She made the same quilt and she used this. So I just thought it was funny that I just like naturally gravitate to the same things that she likes. So it's kind of funny. Someday, if I ever make it to Hamilton, I will really look forward. I'll look forward to meeting everybody, but I really look forward to meeting Misty. Okay, this project came together really, really fast. I was able to do this quilt top in about, I don't know, 5 days, you know, part-time. My time is very, very limited these days. And so I work a lot at night on things, and I only have, you know, a couple hours here and there, and I was still able to get this together. If you're looking for something like for a retreat, this is a great project. I still say it's a great retreat project because you just need that one package of your 10-inch squares and your 2 yards of background fabric, and you're golden. Before we get into the video, let me just say this, or the other part of the video. We're already in the video. See how it's hanging up? So I went to Home Depot yesterday and got a much thicker dowel and a little bit longer, and it works beautifully. So I can hang my even throw sized quilts now, and I'm just using the same setup like I showed you in that other video about how I hang my quilts. The same nails, it's all the same. The rings for the curtains, the big dowel, and the same 3 nails. That's it. And this just went right on the same setup. And so you can do even large quilts. Let's jump in and look at how to put the squared up quilt together. Okay, so now that we've determined our layout, or at least a close approximation, what I'm going to do is to cut the fabric and prepare for sewing the block. And what I did was I stacked up all of the 10-inch cuts, pieces, into one stack, and I got them as nice and even as I could get. And your first cut is to cut in half. So we're going to count over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And line up. And just make sure you're as approximate as you can be. And this is great for setting up for chain piecing, which is how I've been doing them just in real life. But for in terms of just doing this on camera, we're just going to set up so I can show you what we're doing. Lay the strips across. Clip in place. I always like to clip beginning, middle, and end. And then you can just trim that. And then we're just going to take one of these 2.5-inch strips. And if this is long enough, and it is, we'll just put that on. If you want to cut your background strips down to size, that's certainly up to you. I just do them this way, and what I'm going to do is take this to the machine. I'm going to attach this background to each one of these strips. I'm going to press it open and come back and show it to you, and just basically do the next step. Alright, then we come back and I've got these pieces attached. And now what I'm going to do is square them up. And I just use a line to go along with that seam. And then I line with that edge. And just take off that little bit. And then you've got that unit. Next step is we're going to take the second 2.5-inch strip and we're going to join it here. And make sure that you aren't putting the cut edge to the cut edge, because otherwise, if you've got a directional print and you're doing this, your print is going to wind up upside down. And it's going to look a little disruptive in your block if you've got strips going every which way. So make sure that you are joining the cut to the cut edge. Okay, let me take this to the machine. I'm going to sew this down, press it, and we'll come back and do the last line of sewing. Alright, we're back and we're going to join, and you can see the cut edge to the cut edge, as opposed to doing the pinked edge to this. If you do the pinked edge, you're technically upside down. It's not going to make so much difference with this because it's sort of non-directional, but trust me, if you have a directional print, it is going to look really funny when you get it together. Alright, so let's attach here. And again, this works so well when you chain piece, and you can do an entire row really pretty quickly. That's how I've been doing them, but again, I wanted to just kind of show you the block. And I'm just attaching this. Okay, let me get that sewn and pressed, and I'll come back and we'll take a look at the finished block. So when I was talking about the directional prints and how important it is that you mind where you're putting stuff in, like this bird print, very directional. And if you put your birds in upside down, that's going to look funny. So just make sure that you put the cut edge to the cut edge. And then it's sort of neat because, you know, where you've cut, you're just picking it up right here, so you're like continuing the print. I think it's beautiful. And when you have these really dark colors with that white background, it's very bold. And then here's a lighter colored one. I think they're all pretty. So that is your block. And you can do these, like what I would do is a row at a time. And they go together really quick, especially because you can chain piece. Okay, that's the video for today. I sure hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you loved this little peek at putting together the squared up quilt. I think it's fantastic. And until our next video, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and participating and all of that. And until next we meet, happy quilting, everyone.